Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 15th episode of Downtown Now. We would like to remind you to please use the Q&A section to ask any questions, and we will try to answer them later in the program. We also feel free to introduce yourself and what organization you are with in the chat section. Now I will turn it over to our Executive Vice President of Business Development, Michael Diemer.
Thank you, Lauren, and thanks to all of you for joining us this afternoon. For those of you who may not be familiar with Downtown Cleveland Alliance, I wanted to share a little bit at the outset about who we are and what we do. We are the only nonprofit organization that's dedicated exclusively to making downtown Cleveland the most compelling place to live, work, play, and invest in the region. We're a place-based development organization. We represent property owners, residents, businesses, and civic partners in downtown Cleveland. And over the last 15 years, we've concentrated on building a clean, safe, welcoming, and pedestrian-friendly place that attracts additional investment. A place where residents and office workers can walk to meet their daily needs, where local retailers and restaurateurs animate the streets, and where people are proud to build a life for themselves and their families. We can't do this work without the generous support of individuals and businesses and corporate partners and foundations. Downtown Cleveland needs your support now more than ever, and in response to an outpouring of support and requests for ways to help, Downtown Cleveland Alliance has launched the Unite CLE Recovery Fund. Your fund will help support small downtown businesses, aid our Voices of CLE public mural program, expand our SEEDS workforce readiness program, which provides jobs and job training for individuals who are homeless, and sustain our Downtown Cleveland Homeless Fund, which helps us to connect individuals who are homeless with shelter and needed services. As Lauren mentioned, we launched the Downtown Now webinar series a little over 3 months ago, and I'd like to thank Cleveland Magazine and Community Leader, our media sponsors, for the project. Since 2018, the Downtown Now insert in Cleveland Magazine has served to highlight the progress of downtown Cleveland, and we've used the webinar series to chronicle a rapidly changing environment. Today, we're going to talk about downtown living. Downtown Cleveland is the fastest growing neighborhood in the region. And to put that in perspective, between 2013 and 2018, the downtown Cleveland population grew by 48%. During the same time period, the fastest growing suburb in Cuyahoga County grew by 3%. And there's more opportunities and more options than ever to live in downtown Cleveland. With over 1,000 apartments under construction that are being completed as we speak and over the course of the next few months. And today we have a really terrific panel to talk about the downtown housing market, both the rental market and home ownership opportunities. We're joined today by John Drain, Development Manager with Bedrock Detroit, Senior Community Manager with Graystar and the Lumen, and Kristen Rogers, Closer and Listing Leader for Howard Hanna Real Estate. So John, Matt, Kristen, welcome to the webinar and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
me. We were, as the webinar was beginning, working through some technology issues. So we're going to see how things are and maybe turn, John, I'd like to turn to you and ask you to tell us a little bit about the May. It's a beautiful redevelopment of the historic May Company department building that is being completed as we speak. Wondered if you could share with us a little bit about the building and perhaps show us some of the building.
Well, happy to. First of all, am I coming through loud and clear here? Because I'm outdoors in our open air atrium space behind me. Is that apparent, Mike?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hopefully the audience can as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm hooked up to my phone hotspot here. So, forgive me if we didn't troubleshoot this thoroughly enough. It was working well just 15 minutes ago, but at any rate, yeah, this is the historic May Company. This building was constructed or opened in 1914, they tell me. It's a Daniel Burnham design. So it's a very unique building. It's at It had sat vacant for close to 20 years, I believe. It had last been used as a key bank data center, I think. The floor plates are about 100,000 square feet, so basically a city block. So bedrock along with GICE in order to create an efficient multi-family floor plate geometry, cut this atrium through the building, which you see behind me. We've preserved the historic column grid of the spaces. That was a requirement of SHPO. Some of you may know that this building received a catalytic tax credit from the state of Ohio to stimulate this development. Forgive me, I think there's a helicopter flying above us. But that enabled us to repurpose the building for 307 multifamily units, approximately 70,000 square feet of commercial space, and below me is a 530 space parking garage. So that is the development program here. And we, as of a month ago, we've opened for leasing. We're conducting tours daily as well, and also virtual tours if you must. We have a steady stream of leasing activity we're seeing here. So very excited about delivering this product to the market and showing off its many unique features.
Well, we're excited to have the building come into the market. It's obviously been a long time coming, as you mentioned, the building being vacant for 20 some years. Do you have any images that you can show of the building? What we see behind you looks really compelling.
Sure. Well, I mentioned the amenities here. There goes another one. So what's cool about this courtyard, for example, in this time of social distancing and working from home, so if you're living here and maybe need a change of scenery, something to spark a little creativity, or just get out of your own, get away from your pets or whatever. If you happen to be on a Zoom call, maybe you could come down here and enjoy this space. We haven't gotten all the accoutrements and FF&E in yet, but it'll be very elegant common space. And then there are also these private balconies too. So that's a unique unit typology for the downtown Cleveland market. One of actually 45 unique unit types we have in this property. Aaron, I'll pull up an image of, I'll show you let's look at the other, there's a roof deck on our 9th floor that's for resident use. If I can figure out how to screen share here. Hold on 1 second. How do we do this? Here we go. Push this button, then this button, share. Okay, so I'm sharing a nighttime rendering of our private courtyard. It'll have fire pits, not shown, well, there's our wet bar shown. We actually will have 3 grills installed up there. So it's, no, they're not in the exact location of this rendering, but that's the essence of it. It has this pretty cool lighting that's suspended over the space, and this fellow over here is looking down into the Atrium Courtyard, which is so unique. And if you were to turn the image, you'd see the iconic towers of Cleveland and Public Square too. So it's just a very cool setting. And if you want to bear with me, I can show you a rendering of our community room, which I was just in here. I'll show you the community space. Hopefully that's coming through here. So this is a community room, has a pool table, shuffleboard, ping pong, a little gaming area too. So we'll have a PS4 and Xbox and stuff. So you can bring your own controller and kind of hang out here. So again, just another pretty spacious and fun amenity that we're offering. And I'd like to let, I don't want to hog the panel here, so I'll let the others speak to it. But if I could love to tell you more about the amenities we have here in a little later. So
Sure, we'll
I'll turn it back to you, Michael.
No, thank you. And we'll, everything looks beautiful. We'll certainly circle back to talk more about the amenity package and some of the strategies you're using to reach out to prospective residents. But Matt, I'd like to turn over to you. We're as excited as we are about the May and the repurposing of, one of our most iconic buildings in downtown Cleveland. We're every bit as excited about having a new addition to the downtown skyline with the Lumen. And I know that residents have already started to move in. Wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the project, and I think you may have some images to share with us as well.
Yes, thanks very much, Michael. So the Lumen is a very exciting project for downtown Cleveland. It's been under construction for quite a while, and it's been very hard to miss as you're driving into downtown Cleveland with this beautiful 35-story all glass building just popping up from the city skyline. So it's been a great addition to downtown Cleveland and here to Playhouse Square. This was Playhouse Square's endeavor as the developer, and the product that has been delivered with thanks to the Gilbane Company and Hines as the project manager, combined with Playhouse Square and now Greystar as the manager. It's been a great effort together for these 318 apartments. We have a garage connected of 550 spaces, and just like the May Company, with the building there at the May, this is Cleveland has been hurting for parking, and I think this is great that both of our endeavors are adding to that benefit for all of Cleveland. We did start moving residents in on July 19th, and to date right now we're about 19% leased, and we have been extremely busy with tours every day. We're operating 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., offering tours in person as well as virtual. Right now we have are able to occupy the first 20 floors, and then 21 through 35 is still under construction and will be delivered to management mid-September. So mid-September, the entire building will be ready to go, including all of our penthouses. We range in price for our junior one bedrooms start at $14.48 a month, all the way up to our largest penthouse. That's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath penthouse, 1,932 square feet for $73.27 per month. So we have quite a range. I'll show you if I can figure out here how to screen share as well. Then I will show some pictures too. Let's see if this works. Is this working?
We see lots of small images.
You don't see my big image yet.
No.
Let's see. Well, maybe I don't know how to do this. I thought I did.
What happens if you double click on one of the small images?
That's what I did, and it opened up big on my screen. Now, let me see if this is, let me try that now.
Oh, we see you. There we go.
Aha, okay. So this is an image towering up over Playhouse Square. And one of my concierge took this picture towering straight up to the 35th floor over Playhouse Square. Our entrance into the Lumen comes straight in. You see this wonderful image here of these are 24,200 tiles, small mosaic tiles that were fabricated in Spain. So that is what draws people in as they come into the Lumen in our lobby. Uh, and I apologize, these are not in order. This is up on our amenity space. This is our business center for all of our residents. This is some of our outdoor pictures. So we have a fire pit, dry bar, 4 gas grills for all of our residents. Our fitness center on the 5th floor. There's the gas grills. We have a swimming pool with covered cabanas that are also lit at nighttime. And here are a couple of our model suites in our apartments. You can see wonderful finishes that we have with stand-up luxury showers, dual sinks, stainless steel appliances. We offer gas ranges throughout the entire property. And of course, the amazing views from our floor-to-ceiling windows throughout our building. All of our building, we offer, every apartment has at least one window that opens 4 to 6 inches. We have a fresh air makeup system throughout the building. So especially at times like this with COVID, it's something important that we like to talk to our prospects about, because the fresh air is being brought in not only in our common spaces, but also in every single apartment. So that's something that a lot of people really are looking for right now. And of course, our amenity spaces really provide for a lot of social distancing possibilities with the outdoor spaces as well as indoors. So it's just an exciting place right now. And we hope that both the Lumen and the May will continue to succeed here and help along with the rest of Cleveland as we bring more people living downtown.
What's another beautiful project, and again, we're very excited to see it coming together and to be welcoming our newest downtown residents to the Lumen. In some ways, the Lumen was a next frontier for downtown living and providing a brand new ground up high-rise experience. One of the next frontiers that we're eager to create in the downtown housing market is, to create more home ownership opportunities. And Kristen, I'd like to turn to you because that's really your area of expertise. And we could talk about the hopes and plans for the future, but I wonder if you could kind of level set us and, give us a little bit of an overview of kind of the state of the downtown for sale housing market.
Sure. So I would say that the for sale activity has been very, very active. There have been 17 downtown Cleveland condo sales in the last few months. Right now I have 2 pending sales that are closing in the next few weeks, and then 2 listings hitting the market this week. So I would say buyers are looking. I have everyone from empty nesters who want a cool secondary or a secondary pad downtown or their primary property, because everything is so accessible and walkable down here. You can just walk to Blue Point Grill or East 4th and then literally just walk home. With rare ride sharing, you can take a Uber to Edgewater Beach in less than 10 minutes. So people love the accessibility and the walkability downtown. I'm seeing some renters convert into owners just because the interest rates are so low, ranging from 2.5% for a fixed rate to 4.5% for an adjustable rate mortgage. And then a lot of investors are very, very interested in downtown Cleveland. So I'm getting, phone calls and emails daily from people who are very interested in the downtown Cleveland condo market. And there is a nice variety of inventory for sale right now, ranging from 119,000 in the Water Street building up to 1.7 million in the Pinnacle. So it really just depends, what the buyer's needs are. The Pinnacle, it's a very highly amenitized building. Believe it or not, it's the newest construction for sale in the warehouse district. It was constructed in 2005, but they have, concierge security, state-of-the-art workout facility, a dog park, an outdoor rooftop garden with grills and chairs. And then, of course, the property selling for 119,000 might not be as highly amenitized. but there's a lot of interest. And the crazy thing is in the Grand Arcade in the warehouse district, I recently sold a unit that sold for $309 a square foot, which is right in line with the Pinnacle. So we're setting records during a pandemic, which is kind of crazy. Sherwin-Williams headquarters, which is going in the parking lot area in the warehouse district. People are super excited about that. I know that's going to happen in the next few years. And there's a lot of exciting things happening. So things are moving, people are looking.
Well, I appreciate you talking about some of the value proposition of the walkability of downtown and the convenience. And John, I'd like to circle back with you a little bit on that point and hear a little bit more from you about, what some of your strategies and messages as you're talking with prospective residents. I know, we continue to combat a little bit of a perception right now that there's not as much going on in downtown. As Kristen alluded to, there is still a lot that's very walkable and accessible. Could you talk with us about how you're marketing the May, what some of your strategies are, and what some of your message is to people who are considering moving into downtown and moving into the May right now?
Sure. Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Geist Residential. They're our local partner who's been handling the lease up and will continue to do so over the next 12 months. So they're really managing that message, and they know downtown very well. Of course, they did an amazing job over at the 9. So we're hoping to replicate that success. This is a slightly different location, but it's a great location. First of all, it's incredibly central. Public transit access is second to none. And then we have entertainment options like East 4th. I think, this is a terrific place to live, work, play, but I think we all hope that there will be more opportunities to play here soon. You're just right next door virtually to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and Progressive Field. So I think people understand that it's just a matter of time before the barriers to attending games come down. After we all learn to manage this. So I mean, we have faith, and I think we're seeing that in the volume of tours coming through. People are still very much believe in downtown, and it's not a great leap of faith, we think, to appreciate that. That this is still where the action is. I mean, we got to live somewhere, and there's still plenty happening down here. I'm a downtown resident and not planning on going anywhere myself.
I appreciate that, and I guess Matt, I'd maybe circle back to you and ask a similar question. Marketing a building in Playhouse Square right now, I imagine, is a little bit different than when everything's a full go in downtown and a full go in Playhouse Square. Tell me, and obviously you have a terrific amenity package at the building to talk about, but what kind of feedback are you getting from your new residents, and what is the message and the strategy that you're using as you market the building in the neighborhood to prospective residents?
Right. I mean, I'm not sure that we were very different than a lot downtown with respect to marketing and how to market and how to attract residents. I mean, it was an extreme challenge because we had started our hard hat tours and we were 2 weeks into group hard hat tours, and then we had to go completely virtual. And so that was really probably the biggest shift, because while virtual was good for a lot of people, we still had a lot of people who said, I need to be there, I need to see it, I need to walk in the space myself. And so that was probably the greatest challenge for us to overcome, is getting people to get back into the building. We were able to convert a number of people virtually. A lot of those were also people who were moving from across the country. And so virtual was going to be, the way they were going to do it anyway. Um, uh, but with Playhouse Square especially, so many things in Playhouse Square not open, at this point, and no shows taking place at Playhouse Square. The energy that is normally in Playhouse Square because of the theaters and because of the restaurants, that has been a challenge to overcome. But Playhouse Square is still Playhouse Square, and it has such a rich history for the city, and people that have invested in Playhouse Square, that it has not shaken us, and it has not shaken Playhouse Square either. We've grown, we've adapted, and persevering and pushing through.
Well, I think we can all appreciate and share in that. Kristen, I'd like to circle back to you, and clearly you're seeing good activity even now in interest in downtown home ownership. One of the things we talk about a lot at Downtown Cleveland Alliance is the need to continue to grow more home ownership opportunities in downtown. Put it in some perspective for the audience. We track about just under 8,000 market rate apartments in downtown, and in comparison, 450 condominiums and townhomes. So we want to bring some equilibrium to that mix. And as you look at the market, do you see demand for growth, and what do you think some of the obstacles are to developing more home ownership opportunities?
I do see people wanting to purchase downtown. I do see the opportunity for growth. I live downtown myself. I have a few properties down here, and I can speak to the lifestyle. And when I meet with clients, they're excited to be down here. One of my recent transactions was a couple who they have Browns season tickets, and I think that's happening. I saw the metal detectors at the stadium the other day, so it looks like something's happening over there. But there definitely is a demand, and people do want to own. They want something to call their own. They want to be able to renovate and make a modification to their property the way they want to do it. So I do see a growing number of people who do want to purchase downtown. I wish there was more inventory. I'm not a developer, so I really can't speak to why there's not more product. But from what I've heard from developers, with the tax credits, that could be a hurdle. I've heard that, if you're taking advantage of tax credits, you might have to hold on to a property for so long before you can start selling it off. I know there's some obstacles with lenders. They're a bit finicky. And then I've also heard, the cost of new construction. If you're trying to build a luxury product, something that's, that fits what people want, what their current needs are, a larger space with more storage and luxury amenities, the cost of construction and labor is quite high. So I think those are probably some of the obstacles that developers are facing right now for the for sale products.
Kristen, one of the topics of conversation lately has been about the City of Cleveland's tax abatement program. Last week we had the Community Development Director for the City of Cleveland, Tanya Maness, on the webinar, and we talked about the recently completed tax abatement study, and the city's taking a look at that and taking a look at that program. I'm curious, as you work with prospective home buyers and you're marketing condos and townhomes, what role do you see tax abatement in its availability playing?
Well, that's a really good question, because there's several buildings where the tax abatements are ending at the end of this year or next year. So the Pinnacle, the Cloak Factory, the Erie building, their tax abatements will be ending. But you have buildings like Riverbend and Point at Gateway and the Grand Arcade, the American Bookbindery, where there's no tax abatement whatsoever. But being able to offer that or extend the abatement would be a huge incentive to buyers, because the cost savings that you calculate with even like a 10-year partial abatement that some of the condo conversions had taken advantage of, or a full 15-year tax abatement, which typically is for new construction. Personally, I would like to, dive deeper into that and try to figure out how more buildings would be able to offer that. But, I don't know the ins and outs and the details of that, but it really is a huge incentive for cost savings and to attract buyers.
John, maybe want to circle back to you and ask you to share a little bit more. You alluded to the amenity package that you're marketing at the May, and how does that factor into your message right now to residents, particularly as there may be more of a focus on what buildings have to offer inside to residents. We hear from building owners and from residents that desirability of the amenity package is becoming more and more of a consideration as residents decide which building they want to live in downtown.
Sure. Well, I mean, as I mentioned with the unique, we have all these unique units, right? But the appeal of downtown living has a lot to do with experience and community, the community aspects here. And then, to an extent, the units are like a commodity. Here we have, they're historic in nature. We have these lovely high ceilings and whatnot, but I think you get a richer experience when through the amenities of inside the building, and then the experience around. Here, I'm a pet owner. I have a little dog at home, and I'm in another building for the time being, although I'll come here. We have this really high-end dog grooming station, which is super convenient, something that I lack in the building that I'm currently in. I referenced some of our community spaces, such as our rooftop and the atrium that I'm in. I think I showed the community center. We have a fabulous fitness center too, even though it's not really central to the theme of the May. I think it's top of the line. It really could have been. We have a yoga studio. And all these things, because it's such a large building, maybe we got lucky, but we kind of abide all the social distancing protocol just by virtue of the amount of space we had to work with. So our fitness center is still maintain reasonable distance, so it'll be safe and very accessible on day one. Of course, we are open to residents as of August 17th. We'll have our first move-ins. So what else we have? We have a Makerspace. So not everybody wants to take on, say, an arts and crafts project that could make a mess in your inside your unit. You can come and do that here. And as we start to get a critical mass of units too, our experienced team and property management team will be curating a lot of events focused around building a community inside these walls that'll make this a rich place to live. So I hope that answers. I also hope you heard some of that too. I know my connectivity here is spotty at best. We have wireless in this building, but for whatever reason, I'm not on the network. So again, that's why I'm relying on my own hotspot. But
Understood. Understood. Well, Matt, I would circle back to you, but maybe invite both John and Kristen to weigh in on this question as well. A question relates to transportation and mobility options. I mean, obviously, it's something that we hear about and talk about a lot at Downtown Cleveland Alliance are both the need for parking and the need for a variety of mobility options to meet the needs of residents. As Matt, as your, could you tell us about the parking situation at the Lumen, as well as as you sit on the Health Line, one of the main transit corridors in downtown, what are you beginning to hear from your new residents and prospective residents about what their needs are in terms of both parking and multimodal transportation?
Right. Okay. So here at the Lumen, we have two different entrances for our garage. So we have an entrance right off of Euclid that's going to be for residents only, and that goes for our ground floor and 2 basement levels. That's climate controlled. And then off of East 17th Street, we have another entrance into the garage, and that is for our second, third, and fourth floors of the garage. And it's those floors are split so that we have nested parking for residents, and then Playhouse Square through Platinum Parking will be having monthly parkers, daily transient parkers, parkers for Playhouse Square shows that will occupy the rest of the spaces on the second, third, and fourth floors of the garage. So those will be open to non-Lumen residents as well. As far as transportation goes, the biggest thing that I've been seeing transportation-wise here lately, because it's difficult to watch out for them as you're coming out of the garage, and that's all the scooters that are around. They are zipping by all over the place. So people are using those different modes of transportation now. You did mention the health line. Here at the Lumen, we have a number of residents already who are working at Cleveland Clinic, University Hospital, and so they really rely, many of them have their own transportation, but they also rely on the health line. And we promote that as an amenity as well, since it's literally right out our front door. They can get on the bus and zoom on down to the hospitals. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, very, very encouraged to hear that's being used as an amenity and marketed as an amenity for the building in your residence. Kristen, I want to go to you and then maybe circle back to Johnny, his feedback on the same question. As you're marketing downtown to prospective homeowners, what are your conversations like with them about transportation needs?
So the crazy thing is downtown for the for sale product, there's really only 3 or 4 buildings that have garage parking. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see more. I think that would be a beautiful thing, but Riverbend, Cloak Factory, Pinnacle, and I think that's it actually. Maybe the Hart building over on West 9th. They only have 4 units in that building. Nothing comes up on the market very often there, but there's really not a lot of garage parking. I would say that's usually a must for some people. That being said, there are accessible parking lots. So across from the Grand Arcade, there's a surface lot, same with the Point at Gateway. At the American Book Bindery, there's a garage right across the street. So there's enough parking for everyone, but there's really not enough garage parking. But that doesn't really seem to deter anyone from purchasing anything, because typically once you buy into a building that has garage parking, your monthly HOA fee might be a little bit higher because you are covering that cost. But I also, know people down here. I have friends downtown who don't even have a car. Again, everything's really walkable, accessible. You can get to the airport from Tower City for a really affordable cost. We have the buses. You can take the Rapid to Shaker Heights. So it really hasn't been an issue for me with selling any properties down here.
Okay. And John, I want to ask you to, obviously the May sits right on Public Square, kind of the heart of the transit system. And I know has added some parking. I'd ask you to address that as well. And then Lauren, maybe as John is answering, if you could begin to look at some of the questions from the audience. I mean, we'll pivot to audience questions after John has a chance to weigh in.
Great. I mean, yeah, in theory, one wouldn't need to own a car, but in reality, many of us still do. I have a car, and in a parking space dedicated to it, but it's definitely not for me. It isn't an everyday feature. It's something that because until Heinen's reopens, I'm commuting to get my bulk groceries and whatnot. So can't wait till they reappear on the scene. But as I mentioned earlier when I was describing our program, we have 530 spaces to 307 apartments, which works out to about 450 bedrooms in this place. So you do the math, we're a little bit overparked here by the numbers, but that's sort of the way or that's a consequence of the building's sheer size. But we have some publicly available parking. We have a really unique parking experience too, in that it's an all interior climate controlled garage. So on our lower floors, by floors 5 through 2, you could theoretically get a parking space and then go directly to your unit seamlessly. So that's a pretty unique property. We have EV charging stations on every level. So right now, just a couple at each level, but we're trying to be ahead of the curve there because we recognize that mobile disrupted, and we expect that to continue. But we do want to cultivate the use of, let's say, cycling. We have a bike repair room that's has everything you need to repair your bikes, and bike storage, of course. We're, I think, working with the metro parks to get some trail maps to distribute around here and try to, cultivate a more community experience around that. So alternative modes definitely fit into the package here, but to have a car, we got a great experience for you too.
Lauren, do we have some questions coming in from the audience?
Sure. I'll remind everyone right now, it looks like Matt and John put their contact information in the chat, and Kristen, you're welcome to do that as well. So if anyone's interested, just look in the chat, and all their information is right there. But the first question is, what is the average HOA expense downtown?
Depends building by building. So I would say it's based on square footage as well. So for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo, you can look at maybe $200, $250 a month for homeowners association fee. That's probably for a smaller unit. For a 2-bedroom unit in the building I'm thinking of at Water Street, you might be up to $400 or $500 a month, but that typically covers your water, sewer, trash, the reserve fund. Some buildings that includes your internet service. It really, there's so many different condo buildings downtown. It's just comparing apples to oranges and what's included. Now at the Pinnacle, because it's a very highly amenitized building, it's the luxury building downtown, you might see fees up to $8,000, $9,000, $1,000 a month based, depending on square footage. So it's really going to depend building by building. At the Pinnacle, though, you have more included in your monthly fee. At the Grand Arcade, I own a property there. It's about 800 square feet, and I'm paying $320 a month. So it really just depends building by building and what's included in that monthly fee.
Okay. And then next question, with so many adaptive reuse projects happening in downtown, what was the driving factor in Playhouse Square's decision to build a Lumen from the ground up? It looks like that's a question for Matt.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again, Lauren?
Just one second. With so many adaptive reuse projects happening in downtown, what was the driving factor in Playhouse Square's decision to build a Lumen from the ground up?
I can maybe speak a little to that. Playhouse Square themselves would probably be the better one to ask, but unfortunately they're not on the call, so I'll give it a shot. I know that one of the driving factors was just the fact that it had been so long since Cleveland had seen ground up brand new construction. I'm not sure of the exact years. I've heard the years around 40 years floating around that that brand new ground up construction from what used to be a parking lot. That the Lumen was the first endeavor for quite some time for that. And I think that one of the things that also helps us to stand out is that we are completely brand new rather than going into a space that is being renovated. And people seem to be very excited about coming into a space that nobody has ever been in before. They get to be the first.
All right. What is some of the feedback from homeowners after they've moved into downtown and lived here for a while? What is their experience, or how is their experience different from renters?
Well, I'd have to say all of my clients are very, very happy with their decision to purchase downtown. One of my clients, the Giacos, who live in the Grand Arcade, they bought 2 units side by side, blew out the wall, and completely renovated their property to the way they love it. They have 2 decks outside, and they're walkable to First Energy Stadium, which is, they have season tickets there. So again, I think having, you have a stake in downtown Cleveland, you have that ownership, but you also have the ability to make the property your own. You can get on the board and you can, be involved with making decisions and giving feedback. So I think, having that home ownership, makes you feel a little more powerful and excited to have a piece of downtown Cleveland.
This one is for John. For a building to be closed for 20 years, what was the spark that got the sale done and development going on the May?
Well, the spark is that our family, Bedrock, is part of a family of companies. I'm sure many of you have heard of Mr. Dan Gilbert. And in this vicinity of the May, we have Tower City, the Avenue, Higbee Building, which is home to, which supports a really large and growing Quicken Loans office. And then behind me on Prospect, or across the way from Prospect, is the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, home of the Cavaliers. So we have all these investments, and it was a shame when I would leave. For me, this is before my tenure at Bedrock. It would be a shame to for me to go to a Cavs game and then walk to a parking spot at Tower City and have to pass this building with close to a million square feet of vacant property. And I suspect our leadership felt the same way. So when Geist had gotten a head start on us, or they had prepared a redevelopment plan and pursued incentives, which this property was fortunately the recipient of that. But still had a little trouble connecting the dots in terms of raising capital for it. So that's where we stepped in. We lent our own expertise in design, and since we've been doing this in Detroit over the last few years, and we've done, I think, a phenomenal job of repurposing historic assets in the Detroit Central Business District. So that's, we think that it prepared us to take on an effort like it, such as this. So we're really excited to debut this to the city and show it.
All right, next question. There seems to be a rise in vacancy rates in current rental properties downtown. Is there a concern that we have reached a saturation point in supply? Michael Diemer, you can also answer this question too, because I know we do get that.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in with a DCA perspective.
Yes,
and then,
of course.
And then welcome Kristen, John, and Matt to weigh in as well, because we do hear this question fairly frequently. And I think what's going on with vacancy rates right now is exactly what we would expect to be happening. We did a housing study a little over a year ago with Urban Partners based in Philadelphia, and they found that in the preceding 5 years or so, downtown had been absorbing 450 to 500 apartments a year, and we've added about 600 over the past year, and we're adding 1,000 more. So, we fully anticipate that it's going to take a little while to lease all of those up. And we've always anticipated that we would experience a little bit of a dip in occupancy as that lease up period occurred. So I don't think we're alarmed by it. We expected it. And, I also think that there's an issue of product mix. I mean, a lot of what we have coming into the market right now is higher end, which is great. But I think that we have a need right now in the market for units that are, priced at a point that works for recent college graduates and young professionals. And, I think we're beginning to see products like that move through the development pipeline. And I think we'll have a lot more to say about that in the coming weeks and months. And Kristen, John, Matt, I'd welcome your thoughts as well.
Sure. With downtown condos for sale, it's a little bit different. Everyone owns their own unit, and if they have to move and they can't sell it for the price they want, they can rent it out. So a little bit different, but I will say, to your point, for the higher end products, what some people could spend in rent, they could also own a property, again, with the low interest rates, and it's more accessible to get financing now. The Water Street building, maybe I don't know if I should touch base on this. They're trying to get FHA approved, which would mean that you can purchase a condo with 3.5% down. Some buildings are now mortgageable buildings, which means you can use pretty much any lender and maybe put 5% down, 10% down versus 20%. So I will say, I think there is a need maybe for less expensive units for rent, because, and I know the luxury products for rent are beautiful, and I get it. I get why people spend what they spend, but you can also purchase something for the same amount. Your mortgage might be the same thing. So it's a little bit different on the for sale end of things.
I would say here at the Lumen, one of the things that we have seen is the demographic or the locale of where our renters are coming from. We have, I could do the exact statistics, but at least 60%, definitely greater than 50% of our leases are from people that are not from Northeast Ohio or from Ohio in general. So while others may be seeing a dip in some ways, we're seeing new people from not from Northeast Ohio coming into Northeast Ohio and leasing here at the Lumen.
We get that question a lot too, so I really appreciate that perspective, Matt. I know we're running up on our hour, so I think what I'd like to do is maybe throw out one closing question for each of you to answer, and really it'd be providing a little bit of feedback to us at Downtown Cleveland Alliance. We recognize that the growth of the downtown population is very, very important to the future of downtown Cleveland. We project we're going to hit 20,000 residents by the end of the year with all the new product coming into the market. But both from a renter perspective, Matt, you and John are trying to attract renters into downtown. Kristen, you're trying to market downtown to homeowners. What sorts of things are you hearing from residents and prospective residents about what they would like to see in downtown to make it an even more attractive place to live? And Kristen, would you like to go first?
Sure. Honestly, up until COVID, everyone's been very satisfied and excited to live downtown, to own downtown. Personally, I've been living down here for 10 years. I wouldn't live down here if I didn't love it. And, I absolutely love what I do, and I believe in downtown Cleveland condos. I just think people are really excited to, get things back going again with the sporting events and concerts. And we're so excited for Heinen's to hopefully open in the fall. But so far, at least on the buyer end of things, my clients have been really happy and really satisfied and thrilled owning down here.
And before I turn it to Matt and John, we've mentioned Heinen's a couple times, and I should note that Heinen's has communicated very publicly their commitment to downtown and their intention to open by fall. So we too are looking forward to that, and in the meantime, promoting some of our other downtown grocers like Constantino's and Simply Food across downtown. But yes, we're looking forward to welcoming them back to downtown as well. John, would you like to go next?
I mean, is the question what is lacking? I mean, I'd love to see just continued investment in the city's public spaces. A lot of that's ongoing. I'm really personally excited about what's happening in the flats, especially on the West Bank, that the flats overlook, and the connectivity that we're seeing between the towpath and so on, introducing that into downtown. So these are long run things that I'm very encouraged about. I hear a lot of questions about retail variety. You know, we'll do our part. You know, we're showing have a retail leasing campaign that's underway and getting a lot of interest in that. So we want to have more variety to really to add to the mix that we have going here. So that's something we're working on. I love what DCA is doing with its clean and safe initiatives. The little dog relief stations that you put out here and there. So I like walking my dog, exploring different blocks with my dog all the time. So, the scooters seem to be well managed. Maybe it was a little bit of a little chaotic at first, but I think people are learning how to use those, and they're integrating into our mobility system. So, I like to Kristen's point. I think once we're managing here just fine, and downtown's a great neighborhood. And once this COVID thing passes, it's just going to be. I think it's really going to take off here.
Matt, we'll give you the final word.
I would say, we've already addressed or talked about parking and parking being an issue downtown, and the May and the Lumen helping to contribute to that a little bit. But there's only so many spaces, I think, in Cleveland for additional parking, and that's going to continue to, I think, be an issue. So with that, then what I hear a lot is, vamping up our public transportation beyond just the RTA buses, but what more can be done, with that. So I think transportation, public transportation, and accessibility is one of the things that I hear a lot.
Well, I appreciate that feedback, and I'll put a little plug in for some of the work that we're beginning at DCA. We're working with NOACA, the Northeast Ohio Area Coordinating Agency, which is kind of the transportation planning entity for the region. We're working with them and a number of partners on a downtown transportation plan. To that very point, we want to make sure that we're meeting the future needs in terms of mobility for downtown residents and workers, and that's in its beginning stages. And I think very timely, given the level of development that we're seeing, like the Lumen building up on surface parking lots. We want to see more of that, and we fully recognize that that's going to create some transportation challenges and opportunities for us, and we want to make sure that we're getting out in front of those. So stay tuned for that. Kristen, John, Matt, I really want to thank you for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing your perspectives on downtown living and the downtown housing market. We look forward to working with all of you to make sure that the Lumen and the May are successful, and Kristen, that we're working with you to build greater home ownership opportunities in downtown. We're going to be back again next week for Downtown Now at 3 o'clock on Thursday to talk a little bit more about downtown living opportunities. And I hope all of you in the audience will be able to join us. Thank you as well for joining us today, and thanks to all the staff at Downtown Cleveland Alliance, Lauren, and all of our colleagues that have made the webinar possible. So thank you very much, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.